Hello. So I'm out here working on my 1999 Dodge Ram 1500 with the 5.9 liter V8 Magnum, and there's two major things that go wrong with these trucks. That being the plenum gasket and the transmission. I've already rebuilt the transmission with a shift kit and a heavy-duty torque converter and all kinds of fancy shenanigans that I was going to make a video about that, but unfortunately I lost all the footage. So I will make a video about fixing this plenum gasket. The first thing that you do, of course, is you take off the air cleaner. It's pretty simple. There's a C-clamp. I already have it off. It's sitting over there in the garage. There's a C-clamp that goes around the throttle body with a screw in the back. It's a flathead. You just loosen that. Pull the hose off, going over there to the edge of the compartment, and that just pulls out. You pull it out of that edge first, and then pop it off pull it off the airbox first, and then pop it off that edge, and comes right out. Pull the airbox off, disconnect this tube, just pulls right off. Oh, that's easy. There are 4 bolts holding the throttle body on. One here, 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 and here. I already loosened the other 4. Didn't pull those out. And then you just disconnect sensors on the sides. And on these, you just push down on this part of the clip, and it pops right off. And that's how all of them are. Don't use a screwdriver and pry on them. You'll just break the plastic. This last one in the back is a little bit different. Let's see if I can get you in there. You pull on the top and pull back on the clip, and it'll just come right off. And then you just pull this tube on the front out, like so. And that comes right off. And then there's one more clip. Oh no, that's not a clip, that's throttle linkage. I believe you disconnect this bolt here. Cement. Let me figure this out. Okay, so I figured it out. You there's 3 bolts. There's one up here, one down here, and one over on this side, over there. Take those off, and you can pull this whole bracket off the throttle body. Okay, so I've got the bracket loose. The next thing you do is go ahead and pop these little plastic ends of the linkage, pop those off the throttle. And I think I'm going to use a screwdriver to do it. I'll find out. Okay, now that we got that throttle body off, and I just kind of screwed the bolts in there so I know where they go, the next thing to do would be, I believe, remove the fuel injector rails. And to do that, looks like you got to take off these brackets here. So I'll go get my wrench and zip those off. It appears to be ½ inch. This over here looks to me like 9/16. Yeah, let me zip. That one's a little longer. What's going on here? Oh, I see. Alright, so you gotta get a pair of pliers and squeeze this guy down. That little thing there, you gotta squeeze so these teeth can fit through the hole, and I'm gonna need 2 hands for that. Alright, so you just can lift that off, set it over there. I always like to screw the bolts back in the hole so I don't lose them. But anyway, the next thing you want to do is disconnect this little guy here. You just push in Same procedure as the ones on the throttle body. You push in on this top part, pull it back, and then I don't think there's any more plugged into the manifold. Next thing you're going to do is bleed the injector lines, and let me grab a flathead real quick to do that. All right, so you took that little cap off. It's kind of like a tire, and then there's a little valve in there, and you just push down on the top of it with a screwdriver, and that'll relieve the pressure. Now this thing hasn't run for a while, so the gas is drained out, but if you have run yours recently, all kinds of fuel would spray out when you do that, so be prepared for that. Make sure you're not doing this when the engine's hot, so you can get nice gas on the hot manifolds. And then go ahead and put your cap back on. And there isn't one on the, I don't think there is, right? Nope, there isn't one on the other side, so don't worry about that. Now the next thing you do is take the injector plugs loose, and with these, they're a little bit different than the other ones. You got to squeeze down on the outside here, right? You squeeze on that, pull back. Come on. What am I doing wrong? Oh, so you squeeze on this and pull the wires out. So I'm gonna need two hands for that. Just a second here. All right, so I was doing it right the first time. Turns out you just squeeze up here, pull them off. This guy is just being stubborn. I don't know what his problem is. So anyway, just pop them off like that. I personally, I'm going to do this, would go along and number the plugs just so you're sure that you don't get them on the wrong cylinders. I'll just go along and number them, 1843, or so that's the firing order. 1 through 8 on the plugs. I believe, I think this one's 1. Yeah. It says on the manifold here. So I'd number 1, 3, 5, 7, and then 2, 4, 6, 8 on the other side. So I'd just go with a piece of tape and mark those. So I'm gonna do that real quick. All right. So what that tape idea ended up not being a very good plan. So what I did is I just put a piece of duct tape on the front connector in each of the two pairs, so I know which was which. And I figured out to get off stuck connectors, they all ended up to be stuck except for that first one. What I did is I took a pair of channel locks and grabbed the two tabs, squeezed down and pulled back. Of course now it won't do it. It's on camera, it knows it's being filmed. Yeah, there you go. And they just come right off like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the rest of those off, and we'll get to the next step. Alright, so the next thing you do, now that all your injectors are disconnected, or all the plugs are, you take and break these bolts loose here on top. They are 1/2 inch. Okay, there. And there's 4 of them. There's one up front there, one in the back here, and same on the other side, one in the back, one in the front. So I'm going to go ahead and buzz those off. Alright, so the next thing you want to do is pull this little clip off here on the fuel line, going to the injector rails. Okay. So the next thing you do is disconnect this fuel line right here. And to do that, this is going to the driver's side fuel rail. It's real easy actually. You just kind of push down on this clip. Come on. And it'll pop right off. There you go. And it's kind of nice they've got it held on there for you. And that should pull off, I do believe. Oh, psych, maybe not. Okay. Oh, let's see here. Let me figure. Injectors turned out to be a lot harder to take out than I thought they were going to be. Still wasn't that bad, but they ended up just pulling out. I've got the rails stuffed over here on this side of the engine. Two of the injectors came off the rails when I pulled them out. There's one still sitting back in there pouting, and I've got one in this right here. There's a little guy. I pull this one off back here. Come on. There's nothing holding them in other than lowering on them, but they're still. Oh, come on. I'm gonna come on out of there. Okay. I guess twisting them helps. Oh, there we go. Injectors off. See, I ended up spilling a little bit of gas down there, you know, of course. Anyway, yeah, so injectors off. Now the next thing, I guess I'm gonna have to pull the serpentine belt, aren't I? Yep. Belt's gonna have to come off. Oh boy, okay. Well, that's not too big a deal. So the next thing you do when you take out the serpentine belt is you get yourself it's supposed to be 5/8 wrench. Mine is a little stripped, so I'm using a 15 mil. And you put that on this little bolt on the tensioner. And you just take and push it back in. Oh, come on. There we go. Alright. And then just slip the belt off. Nope, gotta do a little more. Ah, there she goes. Alright. So you just take the belt off all the pulleys. You should have a belt diagram up here, and there's mine. If you don't, from when you put that back together. What's it hung up on? Oh, there we go. Chase this thing all over the engine bay. There we go. There goes the belt. Set this over there. Now, where's my flashlight? There we go. Now I'm gonna pull the alternator off. Oh, and by the way, I figured out this guy here. All you gotta do to get this completely disconnected is pull this guy out through the bracket, through that hole. You just kind of pinch those tabs in and push it through the hole. I'd use, what I use, a pair of pliers wouldn't work, so I used a screwdriver and pried on the bottom one, and then pushed on the top one at a time. Kind of worked its way out. You'll figure it out. Go ahead and stick that over there. Okay. Alternator off. So what you're going to do here, unfortunately I'm very familiar with working on this engine. Not necessarily because I have to be, but I like to play around with it. Pull this wire off at the top. Come here. So you push down that top clip, and it won't come off, of course. I'll have to do that with pliers or something. And then there's a bolt at the back of this here. Looks to me like 7/16, maybe 3/8. Pull that bolt off that terminal. Pull pull the wire off, and then there's a bolt here, bolt here at the front of the alternator. That guy right there, front of the alternator. Don't mind the bolt missing from the dipstick tube. Then there's one at the back there you gotta hold while you pull the front one off. And then there's one up here that you gotta pull off. And that'll just unzip all the way. And that is 5/8. This one down here, 9/6. Oh, that might be 5/8. No. I don't know. I'll figure out what they are. So yeah, I'm gonna set the phone down and get that alternator off. Alright, well, I don't feel so smart now. Just in case you didn't notice, there's now refrigerant all over my engine. Don't take this bolt loose because that's under pressure. Just so you know. I just figured that out. Anyway, I got the bolts off for the alternator. It turned out to be a nut on the back that fell off on the ground as soon as I took it off. And this won't pull out with the lines in the way. So, since I can't disconnect that, obviously, I'm going to. Well, I guess I'm going to pull this. That's going to make a terrible mess. We'll find out. I'm going to pull the upper radiator hose off and stick it somewhere. And to get that off, there's that hose clamp down in there. You just get yourself some pliers and get it back in there and squeeze it together, pull the clamp up. Standard procedure. And once that hose is up and out of the way, I'm going to I'll see about taking the AC compressor off. So that'll be fun. Alright. So that ended up being a tremendous mess. I can't really get to the bolts that are under here very easily, and I'm just going to take the fan shroud and the radiator out. Or I might not take the radiator out, but I'm definitely taking the fan shroud out. So, for the fan shroud, first thing I'm going to do is drain this tank. I'm going to drain it into an apple juice jug. And to do that, where'd my flashlight go? A second here. Some technical, oh, here it is. Alright. So, to drain this, at the bottom here, you're going to see two things. You're going to see this here electrical plug, right where the flashlight's sitting there. I don't even think that's got a clip on it. I think you just kind of pull it off. Let's see here. Yep, that just pulls off. And you've got another one up here. That actually does have a clip. You just kind of push down on that, pops off. Real easy. Love Dodge clips. And then you've got this line here, and that line will just pull off. Okay, but before you pull it off, you want to make sure you've got something ready to catch that. Actually, I've got a pan down there, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull this. Come here. What's going on here? Oh, you just pull the whole thing out. That's right. I forgot about that. I think. Nope. Oh, I'm crazy. What's going on here? What do I gotta do? Oh, yeah, the line pulls off. Okay. Pull that off. Stick that down there. I've got a pan down there already, so I'm gonna grab my dandy apple juice. That draining in there. Alright, and while that drains, I'll go ahead and show you the bolts for the fan shroud. Unfortunately, I know this by heart from doing the transmission. And to take the cooler out and do that and take the fan shroud. Bolt here, bolt at the bottom, and on the other side, pretty much the same thing. Bolt at the top, right there, and the one right down there. And those, I think, are either 7/16 or 10 mil. I don't remember. They're one of those. Anyway, pull those off. Once you got this thing, check on that. Oh, it moved. Get a funnel down there. Oh my god. How's that? Nope. Oh. Oh. There it goes. Okay. Now I got that under control. Anyway, once you get... I think I got a drain. Oh yeah. Yeah, you gotta pull this tank. Oh yeah, that's pretty much empty. Pull this tank off. To do that, I think I just like... Oh yeah, okay. It just, you kind of pull back and up, and it'll pop right off. And you've got this little hose clamp there. Just take that loose, pull that line off, and see if I can do this with one hand. Oh, come here. Come on. Nope. Okay, need two hands. Anyway, you pull that clamp off, just go set the tank somewhere else, and you can take those bolts loose on the fan shroud that I showed you, and pull it up and out of there. I think. We'll see. That's the plan. Let's see how it goes. What have I done here? Quite a bit. I took the fan shroud out, as you can see, sitting over there. It really did not want to come out, and I ended up leaving the windshield wiper washer tank on, the washer fluid tank on. I could not get that off. I don't remember how to get it off. I don't care. It came off with it. Fan shroud's out, so now I got more room. I'm gonna figure out how to take this and the alternator out next. But first, I'm getting this upper radiator hose out of the way. These are 1/2 inch. I used an extension, zipped these bolts off. It should just pull up. Of course it's not. Anyway, I unzipped those bolts, and I'm just going to pull that straight out and probably pull the thermostat out tonight, and then I'm going inside because it's getting colder out here. Everything's frozen. It's just miserable. And it's like 10 o'clock. So I'm going to go inside and go to bed and pick this up in the morning. I got all those bolts off except for this guy. And to get that off, you just pull this hose. Coolant is going to go everywhere, so make sure you're prepared to catch that. Not a whole lot I can do about that. Yeah, that's too bad. Actually, you know what? I bet I got a plug for that hold. Oh, just bear with me here. I think I've got some plugs over here somewhere. There's too little. Plug it with a paper towel. I really don't like that coolant going everywhere. Let's see if I can plug it with this. Those out of here. Whatever, it's just done anyway. Oh well, I guess if you were more prepared than I was, you could plug that with like a rubber stopper. And now this guy's gonna come off. Oops. There we go. Add this to the collection. Alright. Got all the snow on my jacket. Now that those are off, this whole assembly should pull up and out of the way. Oh yeah, there's one more thing we got to take off. The back here, this guy, I never did figure out what the size that is. So let me Let me look into that real quick here. Just a sec. Alright, so I got all that out of the way and tied it up with a bungee. Ended up having to take this clip off the side of the AC unit and disconnect this guy from something else. And with this thing, you kind of like lever this little red clip out and pull on it. And it was confusing. Not even sure how I did it. Let's get these. Oh my god. Well, that's what happens when you forget to take the negative cable loose on the battery. Anyway, make sure you take that cable loose, kids. Next thing after that is taking this hose loose, and taking it loose from the water pump as well, and then tucking those out of the way. That's probably going to leak coolant all over the place too, so that'll be fun. So a quick tip when you're removing this hose is to grab it here. Oh, come on. Grab it like that with a pair of big pliers and just shake it around, break it loose. And then take a screwdriver, pry it up. I might just end up cutting this thing off because the kit came with a new one, so we'll see. But definitely grab it with a piece of with pliers and twist it around before you cut it. Make sure you get those pieces off, because you can get a good grip on it how it is. Alright, might not look like I've done much, but I've taken a lot of little things off. I took this little line off here. Right, goes to this harness, which I pulled out of the plenum here, and tuck that out of the way. Tuck this guy out of the way, somewhere else. Pulled this vacuum line off the side of the plenum. It's going to the brake booster there, right on the side there, just got a clamp. I pulled a little sensor out of here that I was trying to work the clip, but of course, you know, it ended up just destroying the sensor, which I guess isn't too bad of a thing because it looks like it's pretty much toast anyway. I mean, it just kind of fell out. So I'm going to replace that thing. I have no idea what it is. I'll find out. So right now, just tucking the rest of the harnesses and wires and whatnot out of the way. Oh, that's dripping now. That's nice. Wow. I pulled this off. I could not get it off of the plenum, so I'm just going to deal with that with the plenum out of the engine. So once I tuck those things out of the way, I'm going to be ready to start breaking the bolts loose. Okay, so I took all the bolts loose. There's here, and then there's 4 back on that side, and then 4 more over there. I'll show them to you more when I get this thing off. But then what I did to break it loose is I just took this pry bar and I went right there and just lifted up. It was real easy, just fell off. So there you go. Plenum is loose. I'm gonna need 2 hands to pull this off, so I'm gonna set it down for a second. Well, I got it out, and here's what it looks like. It's out. The gaskets are toast. I mean, that's just, it's gone. I'm gonna take a shop vac and vacuum all the garbage I got here out. Like look at this. I really should have done this before I took the plenum out. Come here. Yeah, there's all kinds of crud in there now. There it is. So you can see where the bolts are. Got here. Oh, those are injector holes. Well, you get the picture. I'm gonna clean this all up, like with brake clean, and scrub it with the hook. I'm gonna make this look actually nice. It looks disgusting now. There's the under here. You can see there's the culprit right there. This guy. Yep. This gasket is just toast. Look at. Alright, so I just pulled this little guy out of the side of the plenum because I'm gonna be doing some heavy-duty cleaning on this thing. It is disgusting. Yeah, and you can see the gaskets. I already peeled these intake manifold gaskets off. Came off right here. As you can see, there's still some gasket material left on there. So, anyway, I'm gonna wrap this particular video up for now, and I'm gonna clean up the garage and make a space to install the new plenum pan and hardware on that thing. And I think I'm gonna make 3 videos out of this: removal, repair, and installation and reinstallation. So I think this is going to be the end of the removal video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for the next 2.